Hello everyone, and welcome to Babylon Leather's official channel. Today, we'll be crafting a leather small hammock bag kit. Here is the display of the finished result. First, verify all the materials according to the video. There are a total of 29 pieces of leather. First, take these for small pieces of leather. Unroll this spool of thread. Measure the thread to be 10 times the length of the sewn part, then cut it. Each time, you can measure a bit more thread to ensure that there is more than enough available. Take 2 needles and set the others aside for later use. Start threading the needle by first passing the thread through the needle's eye. Then, pass the needle tip through the middle of the thread. Tighten it, and that completes the threading of the needle. Thread the other needle using the same method. Distinguish the front and back of the leather pieces by looking at the holes: larger holes for the front, smaller holes for the back. Start sewing from the first hole, guiding the needle from bottom to top. Then, let the second needle pass through the neighboring hole. Pull both threads to ensure they remain the same length. Next, have the first needle go through the second hole, then tighten the thread. Be careful not to catch the thread. Tighten the thread, and now we have successfully started sewing. Then keep sewing with the double needle sewing method. After each stitch, tighten the thread while maintaining a consistent stitching direction. Be careful not to catch the thread. Don't skip any holes. Make sure to pull the thread vertically to avoid damaging the leather material. Make sure to pay attention to these details during each sewing step. No more hints will be provided later. Stop after sewing the third to last hole. Then, use only the bottom needle to sew the remaining holes, connecting all the stitches. Next, backstitch with both needles to secure, pulling the thread to the back. The purpose of this is to make it easier to sew this material with others later. Leave a 3mm thread tail, cut it, and use a lighter to burn the end to secure the thread. Slow down to avoid blackening the thread end or burning the leather. Sew the other 3 in the same way, then set them aside for later. Be careful not to lose them. The long shoulder strap also comes with 4 small pieces. Measure the thread to be 6 times the length of the sewn part, then thread the needles. Take one of them, starting from the bottom right hole, and sew upwards using the double needle method. After finishing this row of holes, fold the small piece to align it like this. Then sew them together. Then backstitch once to secure the joint. Next, backstitch again to secure, pulling the thread to the back. Leave a 3mm thread tail, cut it, and use a lighter to burn the end to secure the thread. Slow down to avoid blackening the thread end or burning the leather. Then, sew the other row of holes in the same way. The finished materials are called spacer rings, and sew the other 3 in the same way. Take a look at the result after sewing. Then take the 2 shoulder strap keeper materials and 2 different strap hardware pieces. Next, take the 2 bag flap materials and first separate the front and back sides. Assemble them like this, ensuring the shoulder strap keeper materials are facing each other, with the half circles of the hardware exposed. Then take the bag flap materials and align them according to the holes, making sure the bag flap material is facing up and the shoulder strap keeper materials are below. Assemble the other piece in the same way. Measure 6 times the length of the thread and then thread the needles normally. Start by sewing the holes in the shoulder strap keeper materials. Begin at the first hole and sew forward using the double needle sewing method. After that, align it with the flat material at the middle 3 holes. Take the front needle and pass it from bottom to top through the second hole of the flap material. Take the front needle and pass it from bottom to top through the second hole of the flap material. Continue sewing the remaining holes normally, ensuring to finish the last hole in the same manner. Finally, secure the thread to the back. This step will not be demonstrated again. Take a look at the result after sewing. Use the same method to sew the other one. Now take the 2 side materials. Make sure both materials are facing up. Align them according to the holes. Measure the thread to be 2 times the length of the sewn part, then thread the needles. Sew through these 4 holes normally, then secure the thread inside. There are a total of 4 layers of material. You can sew them one by one for convenience. Then smooth out the shoulder strap, aligning the other half according to the holes, and sew it using the same method. Take a look at the result after sewing. Now take the other set of materials and sew them using the same method. Then take these for small materials. Get the needle and thread it through any hole in the small materials like this, pulling the small materials together, ensuring both materials are facing up. Stop after pulling through 5 holes. Use the same method for the other side. Align the 2 holes like this. It doesn't matter which side is on top. Measure 1 time the length of the thread and then thread the needles normally. Start from any hole and pass through 4 holes like this, being careful not to pull the thread too tight. Then sew through once more to reinforce. The sewing order here is not fixed, as long as it is securely stitched. Finally, secure the thread to the front. Sew the other 3 in the same way. Take a look at the result after sewing. Now take the bottom material, ensuring it is facing up. Find the marked hole on this material. It is significantly larger than the other holes. This is more obvious when viewed from the back. Align the sides without marked holes according to the holes on the 2 side materials. Both materials should be facing up, with the bottom material on top. Ensure the holes on both sides are consistent, avoiding any misalignment. Measure 4 times the length of the thread and then thread the needles normally. Start sewing with the first stitch going from bottom to top through the first hole of the side material. Then, using the same needle, pass from bottom to top through the first hole of the bottom material. The second needle should go through the second holes of both materials. Continue sewing forward, being careful not to stitch through the wrong holes. It's better to align the holes first and then use clips to hold them in place for easier sewing. After finishing this row of holes, secure the thread to the back. Check the result after sewing, sew the other side in the same way. Now take the front material, ensuring it is facing up. Take the zipper material, the direction the zipper is opened is downward. The direction it closes is upward. Be careful not to pull the slider out. Then take the zipper tape. Align the zipper and the front material with both facing up, ensuring the holes are aligned in this direction. Next, take the zipper tape material, facing up with holes to the left. Place it between the two materials, aligning according to the holes. Measure 4 times the length of the thread for the entire circle of holes and thread the needles normally. Ensure the zipper and front material are facing up, aligning the holes correctly. Avoid misplacing them. Start stitching from the first hole, sewing left using a double needle method. When you reach the other row of holes, sew through the zipper tape holes together. Be careful to pass through the middle or sides of the zipper when going through the central holes. Again, do not stitch through the zipper teeth. After sewing these 5 holes, take the zipper tape material, ensuring it is facing up. Align the first hole of the zipper tape with the second hole of the front material. Continue sewing forward, and after completing the circle of holes, secure the thread to the back. Now take these for materials. These for materials consist of two for the left and two for the right, all facing up. One set should align with the holes on the front material. The other set should align with the holes on the back material. Be careful not to misplace the materials. Measure 4 times the length of the thread and thread the needles normally. Start from the first hole and use the double needle method to sew. After finishing, secure the thread to the back. Sew the other 3 materials in the same way. Now take this zipper material. The direction it opens is downward. The direction it closes is upward. Now take the front material. This is the top. This is the bottom. Both zipper materials are the same. If you accidentally pull the slider out, let me demonstrate how to reinstall it. The opening of the slider should face down. Then insert the zipper from both sides, ensuring the zippers are offset by 1 tooth. Now pull the slider, and it will work. This area will be stitched in 3 parts. The first stitch is for the middle row of holes. The second is for the leftmost row of holes. The third is for the rightmost row of holes. First, measure 4 times the length of the thread for the first row of holes, and then thread the needles normally. Place the 2 materials in the correct top and bottom order, ensuring they are not misplaced. Start sewing from the first hole of the inner row of the zipper. Then use the same needle to pass through the corresponding hole of the front material. With the double needle method, keep both threads at the same length. Then take one of the needles and wrap the thread around once like this. Pull tight, and this completes one wrap. Now use the double needle method to sew through the circle of holes, tucking the thread to the back after finishing. This position will have an extra layer of material, so just sew normally. At this point, stitch forward according to the holes on the front, ensuring the thread goes on top of the fabric at the back. After finishing, use the same method to wrap the thread and secure it to the back. Check the finished effect. For these 2 rows of holes, you should also wrap the thread once at the start and then use the double needle method to sew them. Secure the thread to the back afterward. Check the finished effect. Measure 4 times the length of the thread and thread the needles normally. Start from the first hole on the left side of the slider and use the double needle method to sew this row of holes normally. The separate stitching serves as decorative stitches, enhancing the aesthetics of the finished bag. After finishing this hole, secure the thread inside. Check the finished effect. Use the same method to sew the other 3 rows of holes. Now take this long into short strips, a total of 3 long strip materials. First, take one of the short strips. Place it with the back facing up. Align the back material facing up, matching the edges of both materials at the first hole. Start stitching from the first hole and sew forward to finish the short strip. After finishing the short strip, take the long strip. Align according to the holes using the same method, then sew forward. After finishing, take the other short strip and sew it in the same way. Finally, secure the thread to the back. Check the finished effect. Use the same method to sew the other one. Now take the bottom material and the back material, and find the marked holes on both materials. Measure 7 times the length of the thread and thread the needles normally. Place both materials with the front side up, aligning them according to the marked holes. The first stitch goes from the top to the bottom through the marked hole of the bottom material. Then use the same needle to go from bottom to top through the marked hole of the back strip. Align the holes first, and using clips to secure them will make it easier to sew. Now sew normally to the right. Be sure to pull tight with every stitch. Do not skip any holes. Check the finished effect. When sewing, be careful not to puncture the leather. You can sew one material at a time for convenience. Sew forward normally. After finishing the holes of the long strip, continue to sew the next long strip's holes without sewing into the gaps. This position will have an extra layer of material, so just sew forward normally. After finishing the holes of the long strip, take the needle and go up through the hole of the front material. Then use this needle to go through the next hole. Be careful not to misplace the holes. Now sew forward, making sure to pull the thread tight. When reaching a corner, you can sew one material at a time for convenience. After sewing to about this position, stop. Be sure to keep the edges of both materials aligned at all times. After sewing to about this position, secure the thread to the back. Leave about 20 centimeters of thread, then cut it, and wait until the other side is finished to secure the thread together. Check the finished effect. Sew up the other side in the same way. Check the overall finished effect, ensuring both sides of the threads are left long before cutting. Now take the back material and sew it in the same way. During the last few holes, be sure to pull all the threads tight before stitching, otherwise, it may get caught. Then reinforce with an extra stitch. Secure the thread to the back. Use the same method to finish the other side. Check the finished effect. The hardware buckle can be assembled like this. Now take the shoulder strap material and attach two spacer rings to each side, ensuring the connections of the spacer rings face the back of the shoulder strap material. Then assemble it onto the handle, making sure the shoulder strap material faces outward. Choose the appropriate length for yourself and fasten it. You can see there's a small opening in the large hole. Just pull and tug to remove it. Use the same method to finish the other side. The bag is finished. Thank you for choosing Babylon Leather. Wishing you the acquisition of valuable skills during your time here. If you've enjoyed our video, don't forget to like, comment, and share. For more information about this Babylon Leather DIY kit, check out the link and details in the description. Thanks for watching.